Hello guys, Alexab.alchemy here for your weekly card pull. Today I'm going to be doing a reading for all of my Leos, so if you are a Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and or North Node, this one is for you. And this specific reading is channeled for the week of February 20th, 2023. So, my dear Leos, I'm going to do a live pull for you guys today. I have two Oracle decks and a Tarot deck. I've been feeling today way more pulled towards the Oracle, so I think it's likely that I'll stick with that. But the first question that I want to ask, and the question I always ask for my Leos for this week, what guidance might be helpful for you in this upcoming few days? What perspectives could be useful, or just in general, any things that you guys may want to keep in mind? Now, as I'm doing the shuffle, I do want to just acknowledge, for those of you who may not be aware, or just even if you are, we did by the time this is posted, it will be a new moon in Pisces, and the new moon is on either the 19th or the 20th, depending on your time zone. But generally speaking, new moons are a time for intention setting, maybe taking a little bit of space to reflect on where you stand, how you feel, what you want, especially what you want out of life and your connections. Now, Pisces is the final sign of the all the zodiac signs, so it's kind of like the end of a chapter, if you will. Pisces energy is very powerfully intuitive, can be a little bit dreamy, also can be very emotional. So for some of you, if you are looking at like finding ways to set intentions, I would recommend setting intentions specifically as they pertain to your spirituality, your emotions, or your relationship to your intuition. Again, because this is kind of like the end of the season, a sign that sort of marks like endings and then moves into new beginnings, as we are going to move into Aries season in about a month. So Pisces season, since Pisces just moved into, the sun just moved into Pisces as well. We're kind of like finishing up a chapter. So generally with this specific placement, while new moons are a good time for intention setting, some astrologers will recommend that you don't set too many intentions, because this is kind of like the culmination of certain chapters, if you will. Now, do with that what you will. I think there's definitely a level of personal experience wherever you're at in your life. You may need different things. My encouragement, however, with this week for the collective and for everyone in general is to just be conscientious that your soul may be in need of a little bit more R&R, so a little bit more rest, a little bit of nourishment. Let yourself have a good cry, have a good laugh, listen to music that kind of fills your soul up. Tell people and friends that you love them. Kind of just getting in touch with how you feel on a very deep level. And also, because it's new moon, maybe that means getting in touch with how you feel about certain intentions that you have set or that you want to set for the upcoming year. So beautiful. Okay, first things first, my dears, I have pulled, I don't know if you saw shuffling, like I shuffle my cards very thoroughly, and for almost every single reading, one or both of these cards has popped up, the ones that just came out. So I'm gonna start with those. First one that I pulled for you in reverse was Moonstone. As noted, just had new moon, so I do think that this is definitely capitalizing on that energy. Because this one is in reverse, which means upside down, so upright it looks like this. Anytime with this deck a card is pulled in reverse, it acknowledges something that you might have a little bit of resistance to, or things that you might be projecting out onto the world around you, and you may need to turn and look within yourself. So this card's kind of the intuition card. Pisces energy. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is all about dreams. So there's this very watery, dreamy, intuitive kind of an energy that you guys are probably going to be navigating, looking at, working with, dealing with this upcoming week. Because it was in reverse, I have a feeling, my Leos, that for some of you that might be, or might present a couple of challenges, or maybe you have a little bit of resistance to that. We are coming out of Aquarius season. Aquarius is an air sign, so it's all about things that happen within the rational mind. A lot of people, the shadow side of that might be coming out of states of overthinking. So especially overthinking as a way or a means of avoiding feelings and not feeling things that are challenging. So in general, again, the collective, there's a big theme of diving deeper down and deeper lower into those feelings and emotions. Now, I also pulled for you guys in reverse the card of Amazonite, and this card is all about truth, revelations, and the natural flow of events. Because it was pulled in reverse, I do have a feeling that for some of you there are certain events that are occurring or may occur that are revealing things to you. Because it's in reverse, for this particular reading for you guys, I actually feel that the reverse is more implicit of you're learning things about yourself. Leo is an expressive, exuberant energy. The last full moon we had was in Leo. So some of you may be coming out of that energy from about 2 weeks ago, which was encouraging you to step forward and be expressive and be who you are on a very open level. And I do believe that as a result of that, maybe the flow of events that have happened as a result of you expressing yourself or expressing your truth, maybe there's been some challenges with that. Maybe some of you are finding out pieces about yourself that you didn't know existed or that you may have tried to hide, or just things that are, I mean, they could be good or bad depending on however you want to look at it. Could be neutral. It's up to you how you want to categorize these things, but I do feel like you are learning some things about yourself. Now, you may be like, I'm not learning about myself, I'm learning all about the people around me, or they're gossiping, or they're shady, or I don't trust them, or whatever. If that's the case, then there's an encouragement with this card to, as noted, because it's in reverse, take a step away from the collective, take a step away from looking at other people, turn the mirror, or look at the mirror. You're looking at a mirror, so turn within and look at yourself and say, how are these situations, these people, etc., maybe reflecting something back to me about myself? And maybe you learn about some of your shadow sides, and if that's the case, that's okay. It doesn't mean you are a bad person. It just means that's something that you now have more knowledge on. So I do feel like there's some level of like revelation that you might be having about yourself and or your situation. And because this one and Moonstone were both in reverse, I feel like your intuition will serve you as you are learning or figuring out this path and what all of this means. I feel like I want to do that. No, I'm going to start with Lemurian quartz. Okay, so upright, I pulled for you guys Lemurian quartz. This one is kind of like the Sagittarius card of the whole deck. So this is more about vision, big picture thinking. The word vision seems really, really strong with this. And with that vision comes a level of openness to a lot of possibilities. I feel like for some of you, my dear Leos, in this process of intention setting, if you choose to do some kind of intention setting work or honor the new moon in that way, I do feel that there's going to be an encouragement for you to look at the bigger picture. Again, the question I open these readings with is what perspectives would be helpful. And I think for you guys, anytime that you feel muddied by emotions or really sucked into them or just like, what the fuck is going on? It may benefit you to just take a step back and look at the bigger picture of everything in your life. The things that happen on a day-to-day basis or within the course of a week or even a month or even a year may feel like really big events, but when you zoom out and you stretch it out and look at the grand scheme of your life, they're actually maybe not as big or as pivotal as you may think they are in the moment. Doesn't mean they don't have value, doesn't mean that you should gaslight yourself or ignore them because it's likely that they're important for a reason. However, I do feel it might benefit you to kind of be able to oscillate between being in it and stepping away from it and taking the perspective of the observer, if you will. Now, which one do I go for first? Okay, I also pulled for you guys Raw Morganite. This card comes up when there is a level of or a need for a little bit of gentleness and a little bit of softness. And I do feel like for you Leos, for some of you, maybe there's been a level of perfectionism or being really hard on yourself or really hard on others that is asking, it's asking for you to be a little bit more sensitive, again, to the bigger picture of things. This card also encourages you to acknowledge the gift of vulnerability. So it does encourage you to be vulnerable yourself, not only with yourself, but also with other people. So there may be, I feel like for some of you, there may be certain truths or events, like these things that you're finding out about yourself. Maybe you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to talk about this or I'm ready to share this. And if that's the case, that's okay. But there is an opportunity with these things that you are learning or experiencing or feeling about yourself. There's an opportunity for you to be vulnerable and to share those with others. And I think with the right people seems important for some of you. But there is a level of a willingness for you to be compassionate with yourself, and being compassionate with yourself, being willing to share your story, especially if you are struggling through anything or have been struggling. Maybe reaching out to a mentor or a loved one, a coach, someone that you trust, not for the sake of guidance, but for the sake of opening yourself up to vulnerability and giving yourself the space to be gentle with yourself and allow others to be gentle with you. There is also a degree of self-forgiveness with this card. So being gentle with yourself also means forgiving past errors, forgiving things that maybe didn't go the way that you wanted to, or maybe not following through on some things. Because I have pulled Amazonite again at the beginning, and this one implies a level of revelation, flow of events, and this was in reverse, there may be some resistance. I feel like some of you may be blaming yourself for the way that life is unfolding and thinking that it's all your fault. And if that is the case, you're being asked, my dear, to take a little step back. Per the Lemurian cards, take a step back, look at the bigger picture, and also forgive yourself and realize that these things that are unfolding are lessons, whether they're outright lessons or lessons in disguise. It's up to you how you want to perceive them. But I do think that some of you are being a little bit unnecessarily tough on yourselves. I pulled also for you guys in reverse the card of Tiger Eye, which is a combination of earth and fire energies. This is like manifesting your manifesting the things that you want into form. And this card usually comes up when there's a level of like optimism or positive willpower that will be beneficial for you, because it comes with the fire, which is the passion, the drive. You're a Leo, you're a fire sign, so that passion, that drive, etc. is very important, and it's likely quite familiar for you, this like creative, passionate energy. There's no better word for it. And the earth energy, where that comes in, is taking grounded action, kind of a healthier alignment with the masculine side of doing things, being consistent and showing up. So the combination of your passion and your grounded, hardworking energy, I think that combination will ultimately, for whatever intentions you choose to set or want to set for this next cycle, season, chapter, month, year, decade, whatever those things are that you're planning or planting seeds for, I do feel like there's a level of passion that's gonna come out of passion, but there's also a level of grounded action that you have to be willing to take. And because this is in reverse, it does tell me that some of you may have had struggles with that in the past, or that's something that you may have resistance to even now. So if that is the case, again, going back to the raw Morganite, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with this process. I feel called to pull from my Sacred Creators deck, to see what clarification the guides can provide for you, my dear Leos. Maybe in the way of, I want to ask something about, like, I feel like I want to ask about the form of something. I'm going to see what comes up. I feel like seeing what pops out will be useful. And normally I do a lot of pop out method. For me, that seems to be the one that like actually works really well, but I'm actually feeling called to pull a few cards directly for you guys as well. Okay, my Leos, so from this deck, there are a few messages that seem pretty prevalent. I actually want to start out with the middle card, which encourages you to integrate your knowing. So for this upcoming week, it's important that you are cognizant of things that you have learned in the past and willing to put those things all the collective lessons that you have learned have created the situation or the space that you're in right now, and it's important for you to honor that. This card also, it actually is kind of like the Hermit card of this deck. So in the upright position, this encourages you to take a little bit of time out for yourself and to nurture yourself. It does, I mean, in the long run, that also applies to nurturing your connections, but there's definitely, my Leos, and I know Leo energy, because it's a fire sign, can be very prone to connection, and it comes forward as a very confident and boisterous sign, but there is definitely potentially some value for you in just taking a step back and nurturing yourself. Again, New Moon in Pisces, this might be an emotional time, so everyone is in a little bit of need of some self-nurturing. And on that note, there is an importance for you to be gentle, not only with yourself, but also with other people. I pulled for you guys the Good Kind in reverse. This card, to me, and the Raw Morganite are both touching on the same themes. I do feel that between the two of these, there's a level of gentleness that you're being asked to extend to yourself, but also to people around you, and being understanding that, you know, some people are in different situations than you, similar situations than you, whatever. You don't necessarily know the full story of who they are or why they are where they're at. And there is a lot to be said for genuine loving kindness, especially for the people that you maybe don't know everything that's going on. So something I always encourage with new and full moons, or anything with Pisces energy or a lot of water, which is a lot of emotions, and with certain transits that are going on right now, there's definitely, I think, I don't like saying this because it seems quite general, but I do feel that there are certain times when it seems more important than others. And I do feel that right now is a really good time to step away from acting with impulsivity, especially as it pertains to acting in a way that seems or feels harsh towards other people, and instead extending a hand of kindness or compassion. Again, this is something extendable to you and to the people around you, but that does feel quite important. Also, creator air in reverse, some level of air energy, which is the energy of the thought. I do feel like some of you may be overthinking things. You may still be, again, we're coming out of the Aquarian or the Aquarius, sun in Aquarius. So some of that energy of overthinking might be a little bit more prevalent for you than for some than others. So if that resonates, I would encourage you to drop down from your head into your heart and allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to experience those emotions. Know that this time is temporary. That's kind of the beautiful part about life and about, in my opinion, the zodiac is, it's the sun, the moon, none of these planets are going to stay in the same thing forever. Life is cyclical, life has patterns. So right now we're in a pattern where it's encouraged to tap a little bit more deeply into your emotions. And for some people that can be really scary, especially if they've been all up in their head trying to stay out of their emotions. But the encouragement that I always like to give with events like these or shifts like these is that emotionality is not permanent. You will not be forever stuck in your feels. So yeah, I think for me at least, that container of knowing like this is temporary allows me to actually dive more deeply in it and to learn more from it and to kind of embrace that process rather than trying to shy away from it. Finally, 2 more cards I pulled for you guys. Limitations inspire innovations. This card comes up when some of you or when some people may be experiencing blockages and acknowledging them as blockages rather than opportunities to learn. So I would encourage you to, if anything in this reading or in your life has seemed challenging, instead of saying like, I don't like that, or this is inconvenient or whatever, reevaluate your relationship to it and instead ask, how could this be a benefit for me? How could this be serving me right now? Because I think for a lot of you, there might be this tendency to see challenges as blockages, and I think there are opportunities for you to learn and to shift the way that you're navigating. And finally, in reverse, befriend the word polarize. Some of you, my dear Leos, are really I think internally or outwardly, externally, whatever, I think some of you are afraid to polarize other people. You are afraid to make people feel a certain way, and because Leo is very confident, there is a degree of the Leo sign, and I have Leo placements in my chart, so I do resonate with this on a personal level. There are aspects of the Leo energy that crave validation, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an unhealthy thing. However, the flip side of that, or the shadow side of that, is that it can come at the expense of being authentic to yourself, because you don't want to disappoint other people, or you don't want them to see you as lesser. You want them, like, you want to be seen as a king and or a queen of the jungle, because it's what you are, because that's what your energy is here to express. So for some of you that may have that conflict may be resulting, and I don't feel like this is everyone, but I do feel like for some of you that may be resulting in stifling yourself because you don't want some people to not like you. And my dear, I think my final encouragement for you for this week is to be willing to not be liked by everyone. It doesn't matter what you do. Not everyone in the world is going to like you. So your advice is to be gentle with yourself, gentle with other people, to allow yourself to still be authentic and true to who you are. And also for those things, those intentions, etc., that you are putting efforts towards, make sure that you are also taking grounded action, again with a tiger eye, taking grounded action on the things that you feel passionately about, and those things that you feel that passion may present in a myriad of ways. A number of different emotions may come with that, and if that's the case, completely okay. It's all part of the cycle. It's all part of the season. So my dear Leos, I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have questions or you need clarification, you want me to do a supplementary pull for you, please reach out, let me know, shoot me a DM. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, etc. at Alexab.alchemy. I also do these readings every single week free of charge. So if you ever need continued guidance, feel free to tune in, tap subscribe. If it resonated, feel free to leave a comment or at least a little thumbs up so that I know. And finally, last piece of information, if you haven't already checked out the videos for your sun, your moon, your rising, and or your north node, I would definitely encourage you to do that because those can provide a little bit more clarity and a little bit more context for the readings. So thank you, my dears. I love you, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.